Hello, hello. Welcome everyone to the Two-Sided Truth, where we debate it, defend it, and then you decide. A podcast where the facts are presented and you decide the winner. Our sponsors for this evening's podcast is The Flip Side with Lisa Tracy and Shy High Apparel. I'm so excited that you decided to join us this evening. Tonight, we have two debaters with opposing views debating on the topic Valentine's Day is over. Did you get what you really wanted? So, here are the rules of engagement. Our debaters have four subtopics slash rounds to debate, with an additional sparring round where debaters will get a chance to ask each other questions and respond. With the exception of the sparring round, each round is about 8 minutes long, which includes debaters laying out their arguments and presenting their facts. And then they will both have a chance to respond before moving to the next round. You, as the viewer, will vote. You will have a chance to vote in each round. So we encourage you to make comments in the chat, but we also ask that you are respectful with your comments. Our debaters worked really hard to present their topics and to debate. So this message is, of course, for our debaters and our viewers. It's okay to be emotional and passionate, but we definitely want to be respectful. We are streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn. However, you can only cast your vote on the two-sidedtruth.com. You can only cast your vote on the two-sidedtruth.com. So at the end of this debate, we will have a winner because you would have voted. So with that being said, let's begin. All right. So today we have Okera Hollis and Faye Williams. Okera, please introduce yourself and tell our viewers a little bit about yourself and what's your actual position.
Hi, can everybody hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay, my name is Okera Hollis. I am an author of Be Your Priority, Not His Option. I'm a father of an 11-year-old daughter, and I'm also a property manager. My position today is I think Valentine's Day should go ahead and give it a rest.
Okay, Okera.
Yeah, I think we good.
Okay. All right. Faye, please introduce yourself to our listening audience and, tell us your views and a little bit about what yourself and your position.
So I am Faye Williams, formerly Faye Bishop. Google me. I am what I like to refer to as a multi-hyphenate entrepreneur because I have a business that primarily operates in healthcare. And then I have another business that is sort of on the Hollywood side that operates in casting, leadcastingcall.com. That was like one of my first children, as I like to call it. It's been in business since the year 2007. It's going on almost 20 years in casting. So that is something that I take very much pride in helping getting some of these roles casted in all movies from TV to Hollywood. Interestingly enough, and on the entrepreneur side, I have a home care health agency that I have as well. We operate in the state of Pennsylvania, soon to be New Jersey. I am also a wife and a mother to a 15-year-old son. And I feel like Valentine's Day should be every day. Why not?
Okay. Thank
and
you
I'll
for that.
explain why.
Thank you for that so much, Faye. Well, listen, I don't know about you, but I'm really excited that we have some creativity in the room. We got an author, we have a business owner, we have she has a couple of businesses, Okera with his book and being a property manager. So I'm really excited that you guys decided to join us this evening for this fun but needed debate in terms of the holidays and you know, uh, the battle of the sexes. So, with that being said, we're going to go ahead and start round one. And before we do, I'm going to give a little bit of a historical relevance here, and then I will start. I do just want to let everyone know the polls will be open soon, so you will get to cast your vote at for round one at the two-sidedtruth.com. So Valentine's Day traces back to Saint Valentine, a third century Roman priest. The romantic angle expanded during the Middle Ages, especially through Geoffrey Chaucer's poetry in the 1300s. Mass commercialization accelerated in the early 1900s when companies like Hallmark began producing Valentine's Day cards at scale. In 2024, Americans spent approximately $25.8 billion on Valentine's Day, according to the National Retail Federation. Average spending per person is around $185 to $200. Top categories are jewelry around excuse me, 6 billion. Candy around 2 to 3 billion, and flowers around 2+ billion. Women are disproportionately targeted in jewelry, luxury, and beauty campaigns. Engagement ring spending alone averages $5,000 in the US, reinforcing a strong material expectation narrative. So, the first topic starting us off will be Okera. The first subtopic is just want to let you all know the polls are open and I am handing it off to Okera.
So, yes, it is. Well, I would say it like this. I think that it initiated initially it was a good idea, and then it became what it is today. I think Valentine's Day is a microcosm of a much bigger problem in relationships today. Uh, I think it's an example of what I would like to call a Disney princess epidemic. It's like everybody likes to be or wants to be a Disney princess. And so what Valentine's do is it just basically goes into every a lot of women's self-absorption. They want to be celebrated, they want to be praised, they want to be treated like a princess or a king. The problem with that is that when you think about it, princes and queens, their kings are not the ones that is treating them that way. They have servants who do that. And so for a lot of regular folks who don't have servants, who become the servant? A man. And so now he has to do all of these things. And just like a servant from back in the day, it's not in proportion to what he's expected to do. He doesn't get that in return. Maybe a thank you, maybe a smile, but that's pretty much it. And so I think that it creates a lot of tension for men because it would be one thing if men were able to just give flowers or write a hand note because that's what it started out. They were writing notes to each other, and then Hallmark started to mass produce the notes, and then they started throwing flowers in it and candy in it. And so if it was just that simple, then it would be okay. But now what it has become is a spectacle where everybody is sitting around trying to outcompete each other. And now that you've added the internet to this, now you have, men and women taking videos of what happened on Valentine's Day. And a lot of women, what do? They just sit around and look at videos and say, I want that. So I just think that at this point, it is going too far. And that's my time.
Okay. All right. Faye, it is you have next. With that being said, would you like for me to repeat the question?
Sure.
All right. Is Valentine's Day a fake holiday created for materialism that exploits women for corporate profit? And you have 2 minutes. I do want to let everyone know the polls are open. The polls are open. You can only vote on the two-sidedtruth.com. All right, you're up.
Okay, so I actually agree with some of Okira's take on that. I do believe it is a Valentine's Day was a day that was created for commercial profit. But I believe all holidays are created for commercial profit. Valentine's Day, in my opinion, I've always called it one of the hallmark holidays, much like Mother's Day and Father's Day. It's just that one holiday where you dedicate time, 24 hours, to express appreciation to your spouse, your significant other, even family and friends. To me, it is a American cultural reminder that serves to intentionally nurture our relationships. So it's like just a reminder for us to always, remember to express gratitude and appreciation to our significant others and our family and our friends, through gestures like gifts and notes and cards and flowers and things like that. Um, that's I believe that Mother's Day also has a similar sentiment. Father's Day also has a similar sentiment. The reason why I do not believe it should die and that Valentine's Day should be every day, not is that not necessarily in the commercial sense, but just in the realistic sense, you should be fostering consistent appreciation to your spouse and your loved ones on a regular basis every day in some form. You have to express some sort of gratitude and affection. It builds stronger relationships. It helps us to cultivate even better relationships. It keeps love going. It makes us feel appreciated. And it keeps us basically not necessarily in the Disney princess state of mind, but just feeling like we matter to each other.
Okay. Thank you so much for that.
Mm.
All right. Okira, would you like to counter?
Yes.
You have 2 minutes. The polls are open, you all. The polls are open for this topic. Please remember to vote.
As far as couples are concerned, every couple already has its special day. It's called an anniversary. And so it can be an anniversary of your wedding. It could be an anniversary of when you met. It could be an anniversary of when you became exclusive. There are plenty of opportunities for each individual couple to have their own personal day when they can just set aside and say, all right, I'm going to love on you for this whole day. Once you get once you get it to the point where it's this spectacle, now it takes away from the feeling of love because now you have men who are who feel pressure to outdo themselves or outdo the next person. And so when you are feeling pressure, you're not really feeling love, especially when it's not returned. And so I think generally speaking, yes, it's a good idea to have these special days. But when it comes to special days, men are always slighted. Like you stated, Mother's Day compared to Father's Day, they spend tens of billions of dollars more on Mother's Day than they do on Father's Day. We are always shortchanged. We are always the ones who are expected to make somebody else feel special. We're just there to just be a servant to everybody else most of the time. So you already had your day.
Okay, Faye, would you like to counter?
I'm sorry, I wanted to unmute my mic.
Okay.
I do want to counter that. For me, I understand the point Okera is making about couples and an anniversary, and that couples do have an anniversary and they already have that special day. To that point, I answer an anniversary commemorates a personal journey, your journey with your spouse. It's a unique milestone of your commitment to your spouse. While Valentine's Day, to me, isn't the same, shouldn't be celebrated similarly to an anniversary. It's more broad because it's a big part of American culture. I think we forget that part. Valentine's Day isn't something that's unique to any of us individually or as couples, much like Mother's Day or Father's Day or any of those. These are American cultural holidays. You could choose to celebrate it, you could choose not to. But I would not put it on the same wave um, or in the same category as an anniversary because that's more personal. And Valentine's Day isn't something that's limited to just couples or a spouse or a significant other. You can celebrate and have a Valentine's Day with your friends, with your mom, with your family. They have something now called Galentine's Day. I've never heard of it, but that's an interesting twist to just, basically celebrate one another in a communal sense. As far as spending money, I personally believe that even if we did not have any of these holidays, Valentine's Day, Mother's Day, Father's Day, July 4th, corporations are going to find a way for all of us to spend our money. If you removed all of these holidays, we still have social media with a bunch of ads running. They are going to find a way, no matter what, for all of us to spend our money. So to me, I wouldn't even necessarily limit it to that space either, like a money spending holiday.
Thank you so much for that.
Sure.
Okay, I have a few questions. And I do want to say before the polls are open, please vote at the two-sidedtruth.com. We are streaming live on all platforms, but you can only vote on the two-sidedtruth.com. All right. So, question for Okera. Um, when it comes to all holidays, every holiday is commercialized. So does that make it meaningless? 30 seconds.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I really do believe it does. Um, I think when anything, once you make something big money, then it takes away the intrinsic value, the value, because it becomes about the gift. And so anything when it becomes about the gift is it is not heartfelt most of the time. So
Okay.
yes.
Thank you for that. Question for Faye. 30 seconds on the clock. Why do you think so why is jewelry consistently the highest spending category and who benefits the most?
Why is jewelry the highest spending category? Who
Hmm.
benefits the most? The people who benefits the most are the corporations.
Okay.
They do. They benefit from all of this the most. But if we were to center it on which between the genders who benefits the most, it would be the women. It would be because a lot of jewelry commercials are geared towards women.
Awesome. Thank you. All right. We have a few more seconds before our poll for round one closes. Please vote at the two-sidedtruth.com. All right. We're moving along to round two. All right. So just a little bit of information. Data and historical patterns. Surveys consistently show men spend more on Valentine's Day than women, especially in heterosexual relationships. About 65% of Valentine's Day gift purchasers are men. Men are more likely to buy high ticket items like jewelry. Cultural holidays like Mother's Day and Valentine's Day often center women. Father's Day spending is significantly lower than Mother's Day, billions less annually. Men are often expected to plan, pay, reserve, surprise, and impress. Women are more often positioned as recipients of romance rather than planners. Faye, you are up regarding subtopic 2. Are men ignored on holidays but expected to over deliver on Valentine's Day? And before you go, I just want to remind everyone the polls are open for this next topic.
Okay. So, I do feel that men are, say that again. You said, are they ignored? I do believe
Yes.
that. They are. I won't say in large part. I believe that a lot of holidays are geared towards women because statistically speaking, we're the biggest consumers. And that's everywhere. Women are just the biggest consumers everywhere. We spend the most at Christmas. We spend the most money um, on clothes. We spend the most money on everything. So I believe that men are the target market to spend the money, yes, and they are often ignored. While women, who are the biggest consumers, we're the biggest consuming market. We just are, from a statistical standpoint. Um, we it is geared to us to do more of the men appeasing us in that retrospect. So I do agree there. And the men are expected to over deliver. But I also believe, in addition to the fact that women are make up the largest consuming market, and men being that expectation for men to be to over deliver also has to do with our social climate. Um, Everywhere you look, even when it isn't a holiday, there are ads placed everywhere that are geared towards certain demographics. Um, and it really, the goal there, I would say, is for men and women alike to spend money. That's why I said, even without a holiday, they're going to figure out a way, corporations, for us to place ads and market something to get us to spend our money. But the reason I would say men are expected to over deliver has to do with the social climate at large and all this gender war stuff that's going on. It's just the way that it is with the social climate.
Thank you, Faye.
Mhm.
Okera, same question, but before you go, I want to encourage everyone to vote at the two-sidedtruth.com. The polls are open for this subtopic. The two-sidedtruth.com. Are men ignored on holidays but expected to over deliver on Valentine's Day?
Absolutely. Absolutely. As she eloquently put herself. um, yes, it is. And sometimes, in all fairness, I wonder, would would it even look like if women did the equivalent to what they expected from men? The one thing I would concede is that, generally speaking, men aren't as materialistic as women are. But I think the issue is that while we may not be as materialistic, there are things that we like that would make us happy, or at least make us feel good about being in our relationship. And the issue that I have is that not only do women not spend as much, but they don't make that other effort to do the things that they know would make us feel appreciated in relationships. And that's what the problem is. While you may not have to spend as much money, you should learn your man and understand the things that would make him feel appreciated. And that is what we're lacking. Because generally speaking, if a woman is doing that, then the man don't care about what he's spending. It's the fact that we don't get the equivalent in other aspects and other things. And so that's probably the biggest problem. And then, even though women get all of these things, they're still not happy. or the next year you have to do better. So it's never enough. It's like just reading a black hole. Everything goes in, nothing comes out.
Okay. Thank you. Faye, would you like to counter?
I actually agree with pretty much everything he said in that point. While men are over delivering, they're often forgotten, unfortunately. And a lot of women don't consider that part. They don't really want to. I do agree, a lot of women don't want to learn their man and learn what his needs are, what it is he likes, what appeases him, be it on a holiday or not, and what would make him happy. And I know that was one of the things that I challenged myself to do even before I entered into my marriage. It was about, it wasn't about me thinking of myself. I didn't want to just think of myself, what I like, what I wanted to do, what makes me happy, what makes me feel good. I had to learn my husband as well. Um, I had to, not just learn, his favorite color and things like that, but what, actually makes him happy. And surprisingly, to Okera's point, it isn't the materialistic stuff. It's making him his favorite meal, leaving him alone in the man cave and not coming down there, simple. And not saying that that's the things that irritates my husband, but you'd be surprised at the most simplistic of things that actually make men happy, but we don't take the time to learn it. So I do 100% agree with Okira's point on that. Absolutely, 100%. You have to learn your man, and everyone should learn that in a relationship, you're a unit. It's us. It's not about you. It's not just about me. It's us. We have to learn each other, and there are going to be times where we're not going to always make each other happy, and we're not going to do things that each we all like. But the point is that we compromise and we basically learn each other. Yes.
Thank you so much for that.
Yes.
All right. Okera, would you like to counter?
She agreed with me, so I really don't. I, I, at this point, I'll just be fighting just to be fighting. I'll be trying to know its ability if I try to, counter that. So I really don't have uh, much to counter with,
All right.
unfortunately.
Okay.
So
Awesome. All right. Polls are open. Please vote at the two-sidedtruth.com. We're streaming on all platforms, but you can only vote on the two-sidedtruth.com. All right. So I have a few questions. And this question is for Okera. 30 seconds. Are men truly ignored, or do they just not value certain gestures?
I think that we are ignored.
Okay.
And the reason why I say that is because of the learning your man thing. So yes, like there are certain things like we don't want flowers. We're not trying to get jewelry. We're not like rappers, most of us. But it's just little things like she said, a massage here, quiet there. It's just they don't know good work from good don't work. So that's where it comes in at.
Okay. Thank you. Faye, 30 seconds. Question for you. Polls are open for this subtopic still. Um, who do you think set the expectation that men must over deliver?
Who do I think set the expectation that men must over deliver?
Mm-hmm.
Um, I believe it is the social climate. Um, I can't really blame it on the holiday because set holidays, especially in American culture, the expectation is primarily set for yourself and focusing on your own actions and boundaries and reactions. Um, but I think primarily with setting the expectation, I think for men to over deliver, I think it's the social climate, and that shifts every 50 years.
Thank you for that. Okera, 30 questions. I'm sorry, 30 seconds. I said 30
I'm like,
questions.
I'm like, fire away. What you
Wait
got?
a minute. I'm not
What you
prepared for
got?
this.
Come at me.
All right. Are men socially penalized for not spending enough money?
Yes, I think so. Um, if you if you complain or you even mention um, the subject of money as far as spending, whether it be Valentine's Day or whether it be Christmas or whether it be, dates, all of a sudden you're like, you're broke, you're this, it's your manhood is challenged. Um, and you could just be because you're economically practical, but and you can have plenty of money. But if you act like you have a problem with it, then you're called names and you're not a man or a real man.
Okay. Thank you for that. All right. Polls will be closing soon for this topic. We're moving along. All right. Round three. Relationship research. According to relationship research for Pew Research Center, women report valuing verbal affirmation and emotional presence more than men. The love languages concept by Gary Chapman suggests different expressions of love cause mismatched expectations. Studies show women initiate 70 to 80% of divorces in the US, often citing emotional dissatisfaction. So the next subtopic is, do men really show love every day, or is that an excuse? And I want to let people know the polls are open for this next subtopic. The polls are open. Okira, you have the floor, 2 minutes. I want to encourage everyone to vote at the two-sidedtruth.com. You're able to vote on each subtopic. All right, Akira, do men really show love every day, or is that an excuse? 2 minutes.
Yes, I think that men do show love every day. I think the issue is how we show the love, and so in a man's mind, at least most men, uh, especially from a certain generation, a lot of men in their mind, it's providing protection, it's consistency. Um, and so when we're doing that because we love you. So if we're consistently, you know, paying the bills, doing all of that, if we are, making sure everything in your life is a little easier, whether it be you know, your car or, house, or, that is how we have been wired, how you show love to your wife, to your family. Um, the issue is that women are a little bit, they're emotional in a different way that men are emotional. And so women are more into things like entertainment experiences and things of that nature. And they see that as a show of love. If somebody makes a big deal about them or whatever. So we can be doing all of these things because that's how we think that we're supposed to show our love. But women aren't excited by that. And for a lot of women, excitement is their love, is what they're addicted to. And so you can do all of these things, but if you don't give any excitement, then they feel like they're not being appreciated. And I think that's the disconnect.
Okay. Thank you for that. All right, Faye, and I do want to let everyone know the polls are open for this subtopic. Faye, do men really show love every day, or is that an excuse?
I actually agree with Okira on this one. I do believe, only I'm going to articulate it slightly different. I believe good men show love every day. I believe that men show love, to Okira's point, through actions, particularly like acts of service and presence. rather than the constant verbal affirmations. Um, like he pointed out, men show their love by paying the bills, making sure the bills stay paid, making sure that the car, got checked out, and got that oil change that it needed and the brakes fixed. I believe that while men may not use words as often, they do demonstrate affection by doing daily chores. They solve problems. They provide physical touch, and they tend to maintain that consistent, supportive presence. That's how they show their love every day. That's why I said I believe the biggest love language for men is through acts of service and small, consistent gestures. And of course, physical touch, because men like sex. So I do agree with that. I believe, though, that the problem that a lot of men and women don't get, and here's where both genders fall flat, we don't understand how different we are. Women are more emotional. So, to Okera's point, if we aren't feeling that stimulus, that stimuli, we're not being stimulated consistently through that exciting, oh my God, butterflies in my stomach feeling, a lot of women feel like their men aren't making them happy or showing love. And that's where, but a lot of men need to understand that for some women, that's just how they are, because a lot of women are emotional, whereas men are not. So that's where those differences align. But essentially, overall, men do show love every day. Good men. I have to say, good men.
Okay. Okay. Thank you for that, Faye. Okira, would you like to counter?
I would like to say so. I think that her determination of good man. uh, I like that. I like that. And I I I think that sometimes what goes unnoticed is that every woman is not a good woman, and sometimes um, even good men um, wouldn't be able to show, extraordinary men would not be able to show or provide enough for women. I think that um, a lot of times, and I made the comment about the black hole. I think that there are some women who are just so insatiable when it comes to do for me, do for me, do for me, do for me, that um, there isn't enough. And I think that that population is probably bigger than some may think. And I think they are the ones who talk the loudest. And I think that it's because of that, it's hard to even feel like a good man, even if you is one, even if you are one. And we run into that. I was looking at something the other day, and a woman talked about a man who took care of her after brain surgeries, and then he and then she was like, "Well, he doesn't take me on dates now. Should I like like I don't feel appreciated. How long should I stay to feel appreciated?" It's like he wiped your butt, So it's just I think it's gone too far.
Okay. Faye, thank you, Okira. Would you like to counter?
Um, to his point, I honestly think that there is a rising global unhappiness overall. Um, I do. I think it stems from the social climate we're in. It is extremely unhealthy. Everyone is so jaded now, I feel like. Once upon a time, everyone knew exactly what they wanted, who they wanted to be. They knew whether or not they were going to get married or if they weren't the marrying type. They knew the direction and the path that they were on. Everyone understood their long term goals. And it seems like everyone got on social media and it changed all that, because all of a sudden people didn't know who they were anymore. And you have this economic uncertainty going on, so much social isolation. We're all on our phones more than we are outside actually talking and speaking to each other, just in the communal sense. It doesn't even have to have anything to do with dating. I think when you add those factors in, um along with the long-term effects of this pandemic we dealt with in the last 5 years, it has created such a dark culture where you have all these people running around with all of these unrealistic expectations. And there is just like this decline in meaningful in-person relationships. And this is what is continuing to trend right now. And it is so unfortunate. But I believe wholeheartedly, more than anyone, the women have the most unrealistic expectations. And I believe their favorite reality TV shows, in addition to the social climate, in addition to what people like Aisha Curry and Clarissa Shields and Beyonce and the favorite celebrity is doing, and Michelle Obama, when you put all that in there, we have a lot of women whose brains and minds are all over the place in terms of what it is they want out of themselves, out of their relationship, and from their significant other.
Okay. Thank you for that. All right. The polls are open. You can only vote on the two-sidedtruth.com, the two-sidedtruth.com. Polls will be open for about another minute. I have a question. Uh, Okera, are I
Yes.
provide and I protect substitutes for emotional intimacy? 30 seconds.
No, it's not. And I think that's one of the biggest um, issues that men have. Good men, extraordinary men, um, they have the idea that providing and protecting is it, and it's not. You know, intimacy is very important. Conversation is very important. Making her feel special is very important. So it's not good enough. And I think, more men need to realize that.
Okay. Thank you. Same question, Faye. 30 seconds.
I agree. I provide and I protect. I believe that both have to do with physical safety, financial security, and protective actions, but they are not substitutes for emotional intimacy. Um, Protecting a partner and providing is an act of care, but true intimacy requires being vulnerable, being empathetic, and like having consistent emotional connection. And those are all like elements that can't be replaced by practical care alone.
Okay. Thank you. Um, Okira, 30 seconds. Are men judged more harshly for emotional expression?
Yes, we are. Especially if that emotional expression um, is displaying vulnerability. It's it's hard to be emotional and vulnerable in front of your woman, and this is the person who's supposed to love you and accept you. But a lot of men feel like, one day it's going to come and bite you. And so, or she may get the ick because you've, said you were scared of something or you was, you know, depressed about something. So, yes, we are.
Okay. All right. Thank you. The polls are closing for this topic. They'll be closing in a few seconds. You can only vote on the two-sidedtruth.com. We are moving on to round three. Psychological and cultural insights. Relationship satisfaction often increases when couples engage in rituals together. However, social comparison via platforms like Instagram increases feelings of inadequacy. Searches for relationship problems spike around major holidays. Restaurants report some of their highest reservation stress days on February 14th. Um, Pressure points include proposal expectations, financial strain, social media comparison, unrealistic movie inspired romance standards. So, with that being said, we're moving on to subtopic 4. The polls are closing for the last subtopic. Subtopic 4 is: does Valentine's Day strengthen relationships or create pressure and disappointment? And Faye, you are up. Oh, I think you're on mute.
Oops. Sorry about that.
It's okay.
So I feel like Valentine's Day acts as sort of like a double-edged sword in terms of whether or not it creates pressure and disappointment or strengthen relationships. It can function both as a catalyst for strengthening relationships through, of course, connection and, being that source to create, healthy relationships or just a reminder to show gratitude in your relationship. But I also that again, it can be a significant source of pressure due to high expectations, unrealistic expectations, because it creates like this performance anxiety. One of the things that Okera pointed out early in the conversation was how everyone wants to post what it is they're doing on Valentine's Day on their social media and things like that. That to me adds to a lot of performance anxiety and stress. And for others who don't have anyone at all, they start to develop these feelings of inadequacy due to loneliness, based on what it is they see on social media. So I think that it could be a double-edged sword. It could be a catalyst for strengthening your relationships, but it can also just add like this like pressure due to a high unrealistic expectations. And again, a lot of that has to do with the social climate we're in. Because once upon a time, Valentine's Day was just a day. And no, I don't remember people having as much of an issue with it then 25 years ago as we do now.
Thank you, Faye. All right. The polls are open, you all, for this subtopic. Does Valentine's Day strengthen relationships or create pressure and disappointment? You can only vote on the two-sidedtruth.com. We're streaming on all platforms, but you can only vote on the two-sidedtruth.com. Okera, same question. Does Valentine's Day strengthen relationships or create pressure and disappointment?
I think it creates pressure and disappointment. I'm not going to say that's for everybody, but I would say that it is a bigger number than it should be, considering the point of Valentine's Day. The Valentine's Day is a day to express love. It's a day to for couples or loved ones to show appreciation for each other, and I think that more often than not, it creates serious pressure. It creates disappointment. I used to own a spa, so I know how people come in and they disappointed or they don't like something, and so I just think that it. I don't. I think that some people or some women cannot really understand the pressure that a lot of men are under. Especially, if you are somebody who may not have a lot of money to spend, um, the type of pressure a person like that would be under. Even if you are a man who does have a lot to spend, you probably just throw at it. You just throw money at something, but you got to think about it. If you've been throwing, a lot of money at it, for these last couple of years, at some point she's gonna get used to that. So now what do you do? Do you fly to Paris? Or, is it an engagement ring? And I think that that type of stressful atmosphere lessens the point of the day, because now it just becomes about seeing a reaction or looking at her, seeing if she's satisfied with what you gave her. And I think that, anybody in that position, that's really not fun. That's really not a good day or a good moment. If you're just looking to see, was it good enough?
Hmm.
So
Thank you for that. Faye, would you like to counter?
Um, no. Because I just think it's a I just still think it's just a double-edged sword. I think it could serve as for good purposes. It could strengthen your relationship, or it could create pressure and disappointment. But I think that I don't know. I don't really have a counter to that, because people create pressure and disappointment for themselves. You can
Hmm.
go through your man's phone and create disappointment for yourself. You can,
True.
look in someone's laundry basket and not like what you see. Really have, nothing to counter that with. I do respect his point of view, and to an extent agree with it. I just think it's a double-edged sword. That's all.
Okay. Thank you. Okera, last count. Would you like to counter on this?
I do not have a counter, because I do think that there are people who likely do Valentine's Day right, and that would be probably the only thing I could counter. But I do think that there are people who probably do it right. I just think that the majority of people, or a higher number than necessary, make it really about the gift instead of the idea of what it is supposed to be. And so I don't have much to counter with.
Okay. Thank you for that. All right. So I have a few questions, and the polls are open. Please don't forget to vote on this subtopic at the twosidedtruth.com. Uh, Faye, would you say that don't rituals create shared memories?
I do. I do think rituals create shared memories. That is, I believe, a big part of the reason why holidays have become like the cultural foundation of America. Christmas, New Year's, Thanksgiving, 4th of July, Memorial Day, Mother's Day, Father's Day. Um, I believe all of them create memories, even Veterans Day, which is a big one for my family, because I have a family full of vets. I think it just depends on how you look at it.
Okay. Thank you for that. Okira, could disappointment reveal unmet needs rather than holiday flaws? 30 seconds.
Could disappointment? Yes,
Re-
it could mean that. Um, but I think it always goes to the specific person. Um, because I think that a lot of times, um, unmet needs are a symptom of a person's personality or something they may not.
I agree with that.
So
okay. Thank you for that. Faye, 30 seconds. How many arguments start because expectations were unspoken?
Lots. Um, I believe people just have unrealistic expectations in general. And I have to include Okira's point. It has to do with unmet needs, or what people feel is an unmet need. I believe there's a social climate going on too, where people are comparing themselves and their relationships to other people's. And they're assuming that what other people have, they should have too. So if it's that expectation that there is a need not being met when it has nothing to do, you really don't have that going on. So
Okay, thank you for that. All right, Okera. Um, if your relationship is strong, should one day even matter? 30 seconds.
No, I would say no. If we're talking about a holiday, if it's strong, it shouldn't matter. But I do think that if there is a communicated want or like for a specific day, and your relationship is strong, then that day will be taken care of. Now, if it has been consistently taken care of and one day it's not, it shouldn't matter. It definitely should not matter if it's strong.
Okay.
So
All right. Thank you for that. All right. The polls are closing for this topic. We are at our last and final round, which is our sparring round. It is time for 5 minutes, but you do not have to take 5 minutes. Okira and Faye will have a chance to interact respectfully and ask each other questions and counter as well. So, with that being said, do you all have any questions that you would like to ask one another as it pertains to this topic? And the polls are open.
I had one question. It was about her comment about the Valentine's Day. And she said that she didn't know what it is, right? And it's because I mean it's where women decide to get together and celebrate Valentine's Day, girls, just all girls or whatever. And so my question is that do you think that further proves the point that Valentine's Day has just become a celebration, an indulgence in the ego of women? That
that's a very good question. That's a very good question. Um, do I believe that? I believe women are going to find reasons to do that anyway. For an example, women have girls trips. I don't find I've never understood why they were necessary. Um, but much like Valentine's Day, which I recently found out during doing research for this topic, um, it was started by a TV show, Parks and Recreations. I've never watched that show, know nothing about it. But it was popularized by that TV show, much like Girls Trips were popularized by the Girls Trips movies. I think women, because we are just simply the biggest consumers statistically, we love to spend money. We are emotional creatures. We are always looking for some sort of stimulus or stimuli, something that stimulates us emotionally. We're going to find something or figure out something to celebrate ourselves, even if the men in our lives or the men or lack thereof are not doing it. So no, I don't think that that proves the point that it's worthless, useless. Like Valentine's Day is useless because I think even if that didn't exist, women would do that anyway.
Okay. Faye, do you have any questions for Okira?
Yes, I did. So, do you think that the entire makeup of Valentine's Day really does depend on personal values rather than the health of partnership overall, or is it just really all about the commercialism?
I think it's a lot to that. Okay, so I think at the core of relationships, it is personal value. And so I think that if two people share in the same personal value, all of the commercialism does not matter. Um, but I think that the commercialization of it influences um, people who, and you said this earlier about people who like don't know themselves, or who don't have like good strong foundation of like who they want to be and who they are. It influences them, and I think it's more people who don't have that than do, and so that's why you have what we have today, because not enough people have strong foundations within themselves um, to make the commercialization not really matter or not have the influence that it has right now.
Okay.
If
Got it.
that answers your question.
It does. And I agree.
All right. We have 15 seconds. Does anybody want to use this? 15 seconds left. Sin.
It's been my pleasure.
Yes, I was just about to say that this was a really, really good discussion. It didn't really feel like a debate, like, oh, it was a really good discussion.
Yeah. You
And
guys
I
kept
respect
it PG.
Okira's position on a lot.
There's the timer. All right. Well, thank you all so much. And of course, as you know, there is always a winner on the Two-Sided Truth um, debate platform. And I have to say, the winner of this debate is Okera. Yay, Okera. Where's our congratulations?
No.
There we go.
I'm okay with that.
Thank you both. Thank you all so much, both of you, for preparing for this, for coming on and providing us your thoughts. And I do want to say, Okira, you're going to be gifted with a gift certificate to one of our sponsors at the flip side with Lisa Tracy or Shahai Apparel. Again, I want to thank you both so much. Thank you for our audience for tuning in to today's debate. Join us for our debate next week, where our topic of debate is: do Black communities see real economic advancement from protesting? Join us for two debaters with opposing views, Joey White and Jonathan McClaw Sr. If you want to keep this conversations going like this, check out our newsletter, The Flip Side with Lisa Tracy, where we bring you two perspectives to both sides of the story. Check us out at, again, theflipsidewithlisatracy.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Like us on YouTube, Facebook, and the Two-Sided Truth. Don't forget to subscribe to us on the Two-Sided Truth as well. Thank you all so much once again to our viewing audience, and have a great evening.